Hey guys, welcome to my channel Love Beyond Labels. Finally, the casting of Kinn Porsche the series is over, and the speculations regarding who will feature as the lead pair are put to rest. The official teaser that's been released by the makers on every social media, which is looking nothing short of a Korean courtroom drama trailer, is keeping us on the edge as to what we can expect. But before I begin, let me clarify something right at the onset. Kinn Porsche isn't like Manner of Death, so please don't get confused. They both belong to a different genre altogether. While Kinn Porsche is a complete mafia-style story with some added glitz and glamour to it, Manner of Death is more of a crime thriller with an investigative-style story. And trust me when I say this, because I've finished reading both the novels in Thai. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, authors Pachhamon Thivasojarion and Sithichai Panya have not granted the legal permission to translate the novel into English or any other language. And the copyright of the story is with Daimi Publication. And since the story has gone to become a huge hit, that's the exact reason it has been adapted into a series that will soon hit floors and perhaps will be aired next year. Interestingly, some of the actors in the series have already appeared in other BL dramas, either aired or airing currently, so don't be surprised. Also, don't get confused between Porsche and Porché, thinking that they shouldn't have named two characters with the same sounding name, with or without an accent. Let me tell you, these are two different words in Thai, and it's not the problem of pronunciation either. If you read the novel in Thai, you'll understand it perfectly. So it's not a naming problem per se, but a translation problem to put it correctly. But first, let me introduce you all to the star cast of the series before I proceed to give away the spoilers. Now, there are a lot of different characters in the story, so I begin with the lead pair firstly. Mael Pakpum will essay the role of Kinn Anakinn, while his love interest, Porsche Pitchaya, will be played by Nathavin Watanagitipat. Mind you, Kinn Anakinn is the second son, TanKhun Anakinn being the eldest, and Kim being the youngest. TanKhun Anakinn, also known as Kun, will be played by Thong Thanayut, while the role of Kim Anakinn will be portrayed by Jeff Satur. And let me share, apart from Kinn and Porsche, Vagas and Pete are another hot couple in the story. Now, Anakinns are one of the well-respected families in society because they are extremely wealthy and powerful despite being majorly involved in shady business. And since there is always an impending threat to the family given their background, all three brothers have their own separate group of bodyguards as appointed by their father. And the Anakinns have one more clan involving two brothers, Vagas and Macau, with whom none of the three brothers share a great rapport. To be frank, they are always at loggerheads, although they act it out on the outside to maintain their reputation. Here, Vagas is played by P. Sumetiko. Porsche Pitchaya is a university student and also a national judo champion. But since he comes from a very humble background, to support his family, he works as a waiter in a local pub. He adores his younger brother Porché, and they love each other unconditionally, given that they lost their parents at a very young age. They do have a relative, Uncle T, but his presence adds no value whatsoever because he's a gambler and often brings troubles to their otherwise peaceful paradise. And by the way, Porché is played by Gameplay Ganpapon. One day, after his work, Porsche sees Kinn being beaten up in a deserted street at night. Initially, he thinks just ignoring and walking away. But later on, he changes his mind, intending to ask for money in return. Thanks to his judo skills, he saves Kinn. But instead of money, Kinn gives him a designer watch, which Porsche doesn't like but accepts anyway. And Porsche, being the smartass that he is, doesn't reveal his real identity to Kinn when asked, because of which a lot of confusion is created eventually, which is very hilarious. And the Senior Anakinn, played by acclaimed Thai actor Pete Tongchua, who comes to know about all this after having seen the CCTV footage of what happened to his son outside the pub, decides to hire Porsche as his son's bodyguard. And deep down, Kinn is extremely happy because that's what he wants as well. But on the other hand, Porsche refuses to become Kinn's bodyguard because he knows well the kind of influence Anakinn family commands. And he is always concerned for the well-being of his brother. But since he is in dire need of money, he reluctantly agrees, and from here on, the main story begins. Now, none of the other bodyguards in the Anakinn household like Porsche, and given that he is presumed to be Senior Anakinn's favorite for having saved his son's precious life, he is disliked even more. So poor Porsche most of the time is either quarreling or fighting with the other bodyguards. Add to this, Kinn treats him more like a butler than a bodyguard just to tease the guy, and that irritates Porsche even more. But Porsche isn't someone to be messed with that easily. Despite working for the Anakins, he never respects his boss, Kinn, and would always do things his way. He would purposely embarrass Kinn in front of his friends, insult the secondary Anakinn clan for no reason, etc. etc. And interestingly, all this catches the attention of the eldest Anakinn, that is Kinn. Now, Kinn Anakinn is a very interesting character. He is charming but eccentric. He is always in a playful mood and distracts his team of bodyguards from the job assigned to them by playing games, watching soap operas, or singing karaoke with them. In fact, he is one of my favorite characters in the story, and I'm really excited to see how Tong will play it out on screen. And for some strange reason, he likes Porsche's sassy attitude a lot. He's also someone who gets bored very easily. So, he swaps his bodyguard Pete, played by Jakavan Putta, with Kinn's bodyguard Porsche. And funnily, Pete, that is Kinn's bodyguard, becomes extremely happy with this arrangement because of all the three brothers, Kinn is apparently the most sorted one. But the story is about Kinn and Porsche, right? So after some time, Porsche goes back to protect Kinn and Pete returns to Kinn. Also, the sexual tension between Vagas and Pete, budding romance between Time and They, and the push and pull between the Anakinn and the Pitchaya brothers are interesting and intriguing at the same time. In fact, I'm more than excited to see how the storyline of Vagas and Pete is adapted in the rendition on screen, because their chemistry is hotter than the main lead couple. So what starts with hate slowly and gradually turns into love as Kinn and Porsche gets to spend more and more time with each other, sometimes even under weird circumstances, which leads to love blossoming between the two eventually, despite both being poles apart in terms of their personalities and coming from extremely different backgrounds. Thank you so much guys for listening to me so very patiently. Hope you enjoyed the video. Lots more awesome BL content coming up, so stay tuned for more. By the way, this is my original voice and not that of a robot. Bye bye.